Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Worst Reviews Ever. Got Amazing in here, Wally, and your boy the Jerk. So before we jump into this, man, how's everybody doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah, they was. I was telling Wally before we started. I was like, hey, they was asking about what he would rate Dungeons and Dragons. So he said he's gonna watch it and give us his rating on that one. But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into. But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into this one today. So today we're going to review Crescent City. So Crescent City is a 2024 American crime thriller film written by Rich Ronat, directed by R.J. Collins, and starring Alec Baldwin, Isai Morales, Terrence Howard, and Nikki Whelan. I think that's right. So the plot for this is a small town in the South is ravaged by a serial killer with everyone being a suspect, including the police. So, all right. Directors and producers of this movie, directed by, again, R.J. Collins, produced by Robert A. Daly Jr., Vince, Joel Villette, David Lipper, Denise Lauren, and Edward Osipov. I hope I said that right. I stayed butchering some names. So the cast on this movie, the cast was kind of light on this one, but they did have some I say A-list actors in there. So they had Alec Baldwin as Captain Hal, Isai Morales as Luke, Terrence Howard as Brian, Nikki Whelan as Jacqueline, and Inju as Gopal. I ain't even about to go to the last names. So, but all right, let me go ahead and pull up the trailer on this. You know how we do, and then we'll jump into the ratings right after that.
We've got 3 bodies in 2 months. Catch this serial killer before he does it again.
3 bodies this month?
Maybe he's just getting sloppy.
How do you know it's a he? Never assume.
This is the new transfer from Tulsa.
Detective Waters, homicide.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ricky McCullum was found dead yesterday.
What?
I don't suppose you've heard of a website. It's called Secret 666.
No.
My roommate, Vanessa Perkins, she was on that website and she's been missing for 3 days.
How do you know Vanessa?
Sex Addicts Anonymous.
Hello, police. Anybody in there? We saw that.
Double cross. We've been partners, say, 12 years, right? Didn't feel right.
Come on, man. Get on your game. He might be in danger.
Whoever's responsible is still at large.
Definitely a copycat. Whatever you gotta do.
Cutting the heads off his victims, mannequins. That all sounds sexual.
I created a fake profile that might lead us to our guy.
We need all the help we can get.
I got a bad feeling about this guy. Police!
She's internal affairs.
She's unpredictable.
Look what I found in your closet back there.
I have never seen that in my life, I swear.
Why didn't you tell me?
So that I could protect you.
You might hear some bad things about Daddy. You gotta know they're not true. I'm gonna fix it. Somebody's trying to set me up.
Actually, a good cop.
The whole thing's a mistake, Brian.
Get him out of here.
Say something!
I'll be praying for you, detective.
I'm asking you to give me a chance, that's all. God forgives you no matter what you do.
It is awakening.
Man, shout out to that trailer. It almost made this look like a decent movie. Yes. All right, the rating. So I'll go ahead and set this off. So, I'm decided 3.9. So I'm in bad territory on this one. So let me go to Wally.
Well, you pretty much agree with the overall synopsis of it, what everyone else scored this so far. Yeah, I mean, look, here's a little backdrop. This is coming from an actual book, and this is probably one of the more lackluster. I mean, as far as I would know, because I don't even know the book from its off things. I don't know the book, but from it being an adult fantasy to turning to a crime scene thing. Yeah, a little bit tough for me. Hitting it at 4.
Okay. 3.9. Wally got it at 4. So
I might go back down. I might go back down further. Actually. No, you know what? Hold on. No. 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. I'm gonna lock it in right there.
Okay. So he's in bad territory. Shout out to Wally. All right, amazing.
I don't want to be an outlier.
Oh, here we go.
A decent. Like I think it's like 4.5.
So 4.5 decent.
Yeah.
Maybe because I didn't touch the last 40 minutes. But maybe just me. But okay.
All right, Casey Fred.
I just put it where it was supposed to be. 1.5. I'm sorry.
This man said, it belongs.
All right, so I'll go ahead. I'll set it off where I'll start it off today. Usually I'm in like towards the end of the pack. So I gave this a 3.9, bad rated. And the reason I gave it that rating, I think they try to do too much with the storyline and the plot. Where it's like they had the weird sexual thing. It was supposed to be a thriller type crime movie. Then it got even weirder and shit with the whole dynamics. The dude was cheating. So it's like they didn't want to. They were just like, look, man, we got to spice it. We got Terrence Howard on board, Alec Baldwin. Let's throw everything in this movie line. And it just lost the point. It was almost like they were trying to go for like you remember that old movie with Brad Pitt, 7? Like they were trying to go for that thing, but it turned into the sexual element, the website. So it just lost focus. It was like jumping around too much between the different, I'll say plots within the storyline. And it just got confusing. And then at the end, they try to put, some spins in there, but the spins were already kind of weak because already from the jump, his partner was like a weirdo. Because when he, started mentioning about his dad, he was all heated up and, well, your dad does this. And I was like, okay, well, he's guilty. It's like shine a light on him. Goddamn, y'all could have made it any more obvious and stuff. So it's like they just try to do too much where I think it lost the focus of the whole movie and stuff. So a couple scenes that stuck out was the one I was talking about where they was at the crime scene early and he started mentioning his dad. I'm like, damn, that was odd. So I was like, shit. He was kind of like defending the serial killer. So I was like, all right, he's definitely involved somehow. I don't know how it plays out. Because when I saw the first scene, when it showed the lady, like, kind of taking that guy out at the beginning, I even though it was a female, I was like, man, it must be like a partner or something. So, that's what I was thinking. Because when they were like, they're just all over the place. They're taking out like men and women. So I was like, okay. And the other thing that kind of killed this movie for me, that made it just so unbelievable, it's like nobody's gonna go to Little Rock. So when the lady was like, I moved from like Australia, I'm like, to Little Rock. I was like, all right, unbelievable. Ain't nobody's going to, even a serial killer won't go to Little Rock. I think you were plotting like some murders or something. You'll like look at a map, you'll be like, man, where can I go, man, where I can get away? You'd be like, damn, Little Rock, they're probably laxed on the crime, but still can't go there. So yeah, Little Rock threw it off too. Was the plot and the storyline, and then also Terrence Howard. They kind of made him a weirdo in this movie and stuff. So those were my kind of takeaways for that. So the performances that stuck out, man, I think the writing on this was sloppy because, like I said, you got great actors and actresses. This should have been like in 7, like I said, 7 territory, something of that magnitude. When you got like a Terrence Howard, Alec Baldwin, and even I forgot his name, first name, but Morales. Those are legends in the game. So I think they just struck out with that. They were better off, I think, getting like newer actors and actresses to play in this, because I think that probably would help drop it down a little bit, because it's like when you got people of that magnitude and you don't, kind of perform with the storyline and the writtens, I think that probably, somewhat disappointed me a little bit. If I was the director and producer for this movie, what would I change or do differently? I would change the city for sure. We're not we're not filming shit in Little Rock. I'm sorry. So I would have put it in a New Orleans or something like that. Detroit, New York, Chicago, one of them cities that's like more suitable. I would have stuck with one storyline, maybe one or two. You could have a partnership thing where they're kind of weird. That would have played out the original crime, but all the like sexual stuff and then too many spins, I would have left some of that out and then strafing the actual like investigations on some of the bodies, because they did a terrible job on that. They were literally, they just went to somebody's basement and shit, and the body was there. So I would have made it more of like a cat and mouse type of game. Like I said, 7, there's some clues you got to find or something, did one twist. And would I recommend this to anybody? No, I wouldn't. I would recommend this to anybody. All right, we're going to Wally next.
All right. So gave this a 3.5 for as much of it that I watched. Like I said, I missed like 40 minutes. I missed the rest of the telling. So can't really judge on that much. But honestly, this story was very lackluster. One, you get freaking Terrence Howard character constantly phasing back, having these flashback moments and being terrified of this, I guess, this incident that he was chasing this kid, and then I guess the kid probably got shot at, which created some weird, experience in his mind frame. But it's like but the problem is with this is there is no drawbacks to that, and why he keeps having that situation. It's never been fully addressed, and why is that playing a role within the whole storyline overall. So it's like, to me, that's really pointless in my mind. As far as what I watched, maybe they prove it down the stretch. I don't know, but it just was really like, it was just there for whatever reasons. Granted, the plot and the storyline of it all, I mean, it was all right, but there is no plausible like real hit to it. Like is there a revenge thing here? Is there's like, what is it? Like, because it's like, one, you're not even being keen on the actual character. We start on from the first one. The dude that was just walking in, just looking around the household, he was very much high. And next thing you know, this woman just chose to just go into the water, swim to the other side for whatever reasons, and then slit your throat. Okay, I'm guessing we're looking for this person. Nope, this is probably not the person we're looking for. But for some reason, everywhere else, it was around the clock. It was just very throw-offish. It's like it was in so much many directions that you couldn't even lock on who are you trying to even find. So yeah, very much, very just it. As far as actress like scenes or actors and actresses in their performances, I mean, other than Howard's character, I mean, his character was pretty much like the main key point as far as just like the terror, like, getting to that phase of, flashback moments and then just locking up. But other than that, after that, really, you really can give two rat's ass about the whole damn movie. You really can't say none scenes unless you're really gonna keen on, the sex scenes of this whole movie. Then yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, you really don't give a rat's ass about nothing. You just don't. You really don't. Honestly, this was pretty much just like the last movie we watched with that female flick one. I pretty much just skim right through this and just like, I didn't really pay this no mind. And then like when they were really trying to get to like the certain parts of neither capturing somebody or other, and it's like, okay, if I'm missing something here, no, okay, fine. Going back to just not really caring about it, because personally, it wasn't that eye-catching at all. It just wasn't. As far as what would I do with this as a director and or producer of this movie, what would I change differently? Well, number one is actually have a person you're chasing. For the Lord Christ, but you could like literally, if this is a crime scene, give me a person I'm actually gonna chase here. Give me someone that's consistent, not some one time off, and then it looks like they're gone after the whole thing. The Little Rock part, I think it was okay because for some fact, again, it's a small town, so you're trying to narrow down who the hell this person is. So that's fine. I can care less. But definitely, and plus, here's nothing that really was just sad. You really couldn't even pin like when they talking about there was 3 victims. Amongst the 3, you can't even they didn't even did proper detective work and try to nail down certain areas or certain points that this person was attacking. AKA another reasonable flop why this thing sucked. I'm just saying, if I was a detective, I think you get a map, you pin certain things, you're starting to figure out where this person's really hitting on, you just start collecting clues. They didn't really have nothing here. And then the mannequin-ish, it was just a little bit, that was just very weird. Okay. I leave it there. Would I watch this movie again? Only for the fact of reaction to this, but other than that, hell no.
All right, amazing.
Um,
Your high score of like 4 point something.
4.5. I gave it a decent. I agree with I thought there was like way too much going on with the plot and storyline. There just when you went from the sexual stuff to the sex addicts and the like satanic serial killer stuff and the mannequin and the whole head chopping, it was just I thought there was way too much going on. And that's why I gave it the decent, but actually I would have went potentially, I still might, we'll see, go a little lower. The only reason I even kept it at kind of that mid decent was because I definitely thought it was I definitely thought the murderer, the serial killer was Luke in the beginning, but then there was a couple scenes that made me think, okay, maybe it is Jacqueline setting him up for everything. And that was the only thing that kind of made me go back to decent is I thought it was him, but they did do enough random stuff to make me think, okay, maybe it's not him. Maybe it is her. So that was the only reason I kind of kept it at that decent, is just because I did have that feeling like, okay, maybe it's not him versus just knowing throughout the whole thing.
You thought it was Luke? You really thought it was Luke?
Mm-hmm.
How?
Because he was just so weird. I was just like, I bet it's Luke.
Yeah, I thought it was Luke too.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, you find out it is Luke. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know if I didn't
Yeah,
want to spoil it.
At the beginning parts, it just didn't give off Luke to me.
Yeah, so the beginning I did. Like I said, I thought it was Luke in the beginning, but then there was different things that made me think, okay, maybe it is Jacqueline. So that's why I gave it a decent, just because it did make me consider other options for the serial killer. Scenes or actresses.
Yeah,
should have finished it, buddy. It's just that stuck out. I thought it started off strong with the girl that gets out of the girl that got out of the pool and then kind of just like sliced, when I thought, like that was going to be like some sort of sexual scene. So I thought that it started off strong with, okay, it's definitely some sort of killer. And then they find the, right after that, they find the car scene with the guy tied up. So I thought it had a strong start. It was just too much random storylines in that like middle part. If I was the director or producer, what would I change or do differently? It's already been mentioned, like they had Terrence Howard, who probably is one of my favorite actors. Alec Baldwin, which of course he's just like been around forever, so also a great actor. I just think with the people they had, I mean, they did a good job, I guess, acting. It was just the story and the plot that was kind of a hot mess. So I think if they would have stuck to maybe like one or two kind of different things going on in there, it would have been much, much better. So that's what I would have changed. I would have made it more focused. I can't say I would necessarily recommend it. Like, I'm not going to call somebody and be like, oh, you need to watch this. It was great. I think it's one of those shows you watch, like, if you just cannot find anything, be like, okay, man, let me turn it on. But otherwise, that's it.
But I did so there was one point where Amazing was talking about where I thought I did think it was Luke in the beginning. Like I said, it was the one scene where you know, he started talking about his father, but also that bathroom scene when he hooked up, he just looked out of it. Like he just didn't even like the chick like that. So it was just like random stuff where it was like, all
I
right, Luke,
mean, from
they
that
emphasize. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna add to what you're saying, because like from that perspective of the chick, I mean, yeah, you could say like, yeah, that's probably one thing, but the thing is, I don't know, maybe it's just like I said, maybe it's up to the point that I just watched, but it's just not enough evidence. It's like, this is what I'm saying. It's not very clear. It's like, I mean, granted, you don't want to be too clear, but there's a little bit of drops where you eventually start figuring out and piecing it up. Like, okay, this is you, like, or getting close to that. It's like you get something very close, and it's like you look at every ounce of one of this. It's like, okay, you know, it's not Howard because he's too damn guilty of something already. He's already traumatized, so it ain't him. That's just too easy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I knew
then
he was out the
Jackie
picture.
just came into the scene, so you could expect her, but then it's like, not so quite. And then you think about what his name is again? Luke. Then you think about Luke. I guess Luke is the only oddball out because for the simple fact of just everything else. And then of course you leave that up to Captain Howell, and then of course Captain Howell's not nowhere near it. And then Gopalo Sharma, I forgot who played that character.
That was his wife, I think.
Oh no, that was the dude that was in the church, the Indian dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then that one, he was barely even in the scenery, which again could have helped. But I just thought it was just more so of just one of the many actors in there that was just in the role and then saying some things, and then eventually came up. That's why I'm like, how do you start the movie with a woman just knifing a dude's throat and then killing him off, and then that's not even the character you're even chasing?
Yeah, that's what kind of threw me off in the beginning. But I was like, man, maybe it's a team or something like because they started going down that path with the like website and like the cult type stuff. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe it's a group, something like that. That's what I was thinking in the beginning. But they shout out to them. They threw the church under the bus. They had all them dudes in there cheating. But all right, Fred, we'll toss it back to you, man.
Yeah, so basically, let me talk fast before I get cut off. but yeah, I gave it trash. What was it? I think I said. Didn't like the plot or the storyline. Here it is. Detectives, these guys are supposed to be boys. I mean, they've been together for 12 years. And you mean to tell me you didn't know that, hey, your partner on one side over here was an adulterer and sexual affairs, and then on the other side, you didn't know that your partner over here was a serial killer, and y'all been together for 12 years. None of that stuff added up. And then the other thing, it looked like it was supposed to be a girl, and then you find out at the end that Luke has been putting on wigs and going around doing all this serial killing, and it was like he wasn't the same height, the same size, or none of that from the very beginning of the movie, and it was just really weird. And then you cutting off heads, and then like you guys were saying, it just seemed like everything was all over the place. And then Luke kept disappearing all the time, and nobody was knowing where he was. And obviously, we find out at the end that he was the one that was plotting it on not only on Brian, his partner, mistress, Jacqueline, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's just setting all these people up so that way he doesn't get caught and doesn't come at. That's where all that stuff was of that he was using in order to be able to do all this serial killing. And it was just, I don't know, the captain didn't know, none of these people knew that he was doing it, and nobody even gave clues or even pointed fingers until they started running out of people. And they were like, okay, well, if it's not you, Brian, then it must be Jacqueline. And if it's not you, Jacqueline, then who else can it be? And then all of a sudden, when you finally run out of options, now you try finally, it seems like you finally get to the serial killer, and you saying, okay, well, it's got to be him. Let's go. And like I said, they end up fighting at the end, and he barely escaped with his life. He's in the hospital, and his wife is crazy how that ended, because he was like, oh, I just need my family back, need my all this stuff. And they're hearing all this stuff, even on the news, about how everybody with the lady from internal affairs, and his wife was like, well, she will always pay through. And so a lot of that stuff stuck out. It was just crazy all over the board. As far as performance is concerned, I felt like the top three guys, Alex, Morales, and Terrence, you know how all of a sudden you have a bad movie and you be like, well, I just need some side money or whatever. So a little hustle money. That's how I'm in it, like, for real. Like, this is not the caliber that these guys carry. This was so under par that it was ridiculous. Produced, this is the kind of movie where it's just like, you wouldn't go just not put any celebrities in there, and just, it was that low budget where I would say you should have just got people off the street and just made a very simple movie and go from there. So, because if you got trash, put all the people in there that's not right, it ain't even right, and it was just bad. And would I recommend this to anybody? No, I wouldn't even recommend it to myself. And I'm like shocked that I even like Wally even made it through the whole thing, because it was just that horrible. And so nobody had their act together. Everybody was crooked. It's like ridiculous. There was no good guy in the end. And I don't even think anybody can good guy. And usually either the villain wins or else the good guy wins. And in this case, everybody lost. And so what they to say at the end, sometimes you lose and then you lose. Or sometimes because nobody won. So it was just like, I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it to nobody. So, and if you're going to go ahead and ask me, am I sticking it with the 1.5? I would go down to a 1, but it should have been really only 45. But that's just me. Sorry, Amazing, I can't get up to your 4.
All right. We're gonna recommend some better Wi-Fi over there. That's what we're about to.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here. I know I paid the bill.
But all right, so now we'll jump to the last slide. So is anybody gonna change the rating for me? I'm gonna stay at actually I'm going down to 3.4. So I'm going down. Wally, you staying the same, going up or down?
No, yeah, I'm going to 3.
Damn. Okay. Wally got it between bad and terrible.
here's the reason why. Because like going back to it, right? Again, it's like you get some tidbit nuggets of everything, right? And like again, it pretty much up to my point. I probably didn't, like I said, because I missed the last 40. But even to the point of just watching what I've watched, if you were to told me today that Luke was the one and I didn't even finish it, I would not believe you. And why? Because again, you gave me a person that killed. I didn't believe that was him. Unless that was just a throwaway and that really wasn't him and that was really female. I don't know. The guy was freaking high. Oh well. But when you tell me like he literally murked 3. Now, granted, let's be real, right? If you go back and think to yourself, suave dude, drinking, woofy woo, screw the chick in the bathroom. If you told me that same chick that he screwed would end up dead, then I probably would have believed it then. And probably she probably was that, and I probably just skipped the fact that she probably just got murdered in the movie, and I didn't notice. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't eye catching. It's like you wasn't sitting there trying to collect clues. You was just like, well, just call me back whenever this gets exciting. That's what you were saying. Like you were just listening in, and you just like, call me back when this gets exciting. And it's like every single moment they get exciting, it's like, okay. Okay, nothing happened here. Okay, bye. Okay, going back again. Okay, wait for you again. It's like, all right. I can't do nothing. Could get this worse.
All right, Amaze. You're gonna go up, down, stay the same.
I'm staying at 4.5. I actually, like I said, I appreciated the fact that I thought it was Luke, and then there was so much other stuff going on that it kind of had me thinking it's maybe somebody else. I don't like when I think it's somebody and it just stays that way. To me, it's not like, I like to have like kind of like.
But there was no definitive, like, okay. I agree.
It ended up being him, Wally. So we have that.
Again, I agree with everything you're saying, Amazing. But at the same time, I'm sorry. No, there is no drop back. There's no clue. There is no decency of evidence.
4.5 is my final answer.
It's complete trash. It's complete untamed trash. I'm not for this.
All right, Casey, Fred, you staying the same? You going up or down? Well, you can't go too much lower, so.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I can, but it's not on your scale, so you know.
Well, let me guess. -10?
All right. All right. So there you have it. Pretty bad movie. And man, just said even the beginning scene, man, where that guy walked into the house and just drank that drink. Like the oldest trick of the book, like, hey, make yourself at home. Look, they write a letter. I'm like, I ain't drinking that shit. I would have poured that right on the ground, like act like I drank it. Oh man, that drink was great. They be looking at me like, why is he passing out yet?
Because again, that's something that still happens. That still
I know.
It would make perfect sense, right? Let's think about this, right? It would make perfect sense if the moment you by slitting his throat, right? And he knew then, like, because you know he's hella high, he's hella there was some type of drugs in there, whatever it is. You slit his throat. He has still enough awareness to where, like, okay, maybe got enough oxygen after his throat got cut, and then he's starting to actually see who it was. Then I'd have been like, okay, that's a little bit more realistic. You don't get that either.
Wally, this all happened in Little Rock. You think Little Rock is gonna produce some good criminals?
I mean, they're the ones who made the movie. The location's beside me, but still, it's just like, because again, the location wasn't a thing. It wasn't bad for me. It usually, let's be honest, small town, everything else. Eventually, you start figuring out something, but that makes it even worse. Because right, small town, you're not concise on pinpointing certain things to a degree to where you actually picking up some type of evidence or some type of details. That's what I'm saying. It's sort of whack because like you did in a small town, and you still had no real context clue. You have no hard evidence, nothing, nada.
And yeah, they missed the mark on this one, man. Like I said, they just got lazy with I'll say even the crimes and stuff. They just try to do too many spins. But all right, y'all. Check this one out. Let us know if y'all think differently. There's got to be somebody that like this. Somebody from Little Rock probably like, what is he talking about?
And wait a minute,
snap
that
him.
reminds me. Was there any motives to him doing it?
Yeah, he had like a messed up childhood with his dad and stuff.
His father
Yeah,
was
the father and stuff. So that's why the
And that's
old
why
my
he
dad
became a
didn't
serial
play
killer?
frisbee with me. He didn't hug me enough. I was like, oh, here we go with this bullshit.
So that's why he became a serial killer because his
He
father
killed his mom too.
Yeah. So he just wild out. His real name wasn't actually who he was because he guessed it at the end. Yeah, you gotta catch it in Wally. But yeah, it's like, the old my dad didn't love me. I gotta snap now. I'm gonna start rocking dresses, drugging dudes at the church.
So pretty much, this is pretty much what we like to say: modern time people or modern time young men that grow up. Next thing you know, they get into a line of power, and then they start motherfucking just killing people. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. It was like I said, man, they got lazy with the
So,
storyline. They were like,
not
all right,
even to the point. So that even makes it even worse because.
Well, I think they shouldn't even went down the serial killer route. They should have just had the dirty cop because like he took the money and stuff.
Right.
So it's like, man, they could have done something where like he was just like a dirty cop doing all kind of stuff, and he was trying to set his partner up with something. Like they could have went that route because
I mean,
and then let them.
Look, they definitely could have just went that route, but I think honestly they were already doing that route. I think the only thing is they didn't pin it as such. It's like, okay, because you got to think about it, right? You already know how this all goes. If you start pinning the tail on the donkey, you might get pinned back. Because if you put one person in danger, you pretty much putting yourself in danger because everyone's going to start looking at somebody. So I think that's the reason why, especially when he said in there, it's like, oh, hey, I think there's something wrong with him, but I'm not saying nothing crazy, but, I think there's something you got to check on him. But, well, give me some hard evidence. I'm like,
well, just even the end, man. When they get there, they're like, he went in there and like he's already a suspect in a serial killer type of situation. He's like, man, just give me like 3 hours and let's go. And this guy's like, oh, okay, I didn't know you for a long time. Like, I'm like, man, what type of movie is this? So, yeah, it was just so unrealistic. Where it's like, man, damn. That's when the girl got kind of framed. She came from Australia to Little Rock, so I'm like, oh god, who wrote this shit?
that reminds me. Didn't she say like she was an agent? How the hell are you an agent coming from
Internal Affairs? Yeah, she was in Internal Affairs and stuff. Became a side chick. So yeah. But all right, y'all keep tuning in. What was that?
Massive history, and then she came aside. It's like, what massive history between you and him had? Like, ain't you from? You know what? I'm not even going.
Yeah.
I'm about just go. Cause I'm about to change the story.
No, you funny. But all right, y'all keep tuning in. We'll catch us next time. All right, peace.
Peace.